Hey, good morning, everybody. This is Tuesday morning. Trevor from South Africa. We've just had a weekend of a good weekend, but we had a public holiday, so it makes that weekend for many people a better place. But we're in Tuesday today, and we're talking about giants. We've defined a giant as anything that stands in the way of the will of God. We looked at Goliath, the first giant, and he was the giant. We called him the giant of shame because he just wants you to remember your past. He wants to throw your failures in your face, and we learned how to deal with him. But today we're talking about an intriguing giant, and you find his story in the book of 2 Samuel 21 from verse 20 to 21. And his only description of this giant is he's the giant with 6 fingers. An interesting character. Now, in a philosophical kind of way, I guess 5 fingers might be strong, but 6 fingers is considered to be stronger than 5. This is the giant that comes at you with bad habits. You just try so hard to get loose of them. You try so hard to get rid of these bad habits. You try to get so away from this habitual way of thinking, this pessimism, this negativism, these addictions that we have. And any addiction that is, it doesn't have to be a substance addiction to be an addiction, but it has a hold on you that you just can't get rid of. You've tried the New Year's resolution. I'll just be stronger, I'll just try harder, and next time I fail, I'll just get up, dust myself off, and I'll just keep going. I have great respect for people who are that adamant that they're going to beat the giant like that, but the fact of the matter is we seldom do. The giant of 6 fingers has got a hold on us. You just don't seem to be able to get victory over this guy. And I think the answer for me is one of those counterintuitive answers. The thing about this giant is you don't want to fight with him because he is stronger than you. He is going to beat you every time. You need to do something more than the obvious. The obvious thing is to get stronger and try and stand in front of him. But we've learned from David the idea of getting cleverer and not stronger, have we not? Well, I want to suggest to you a way of dealing with this giant of hopelessness, because that's who he is. It's just hopeless. I just can't get rid of this way of living or this way of thinking. Well, let me suggest to you, here's what the Bible would suggest a good way to do is you acknowledge the presence of the giant, but you don't look at him. You look past him. You see, this giant is the one also that uses your past as a way to make your present look terrible. And the suggestion is from me today is that you've got to look past that. The problem is not the giant. The problem is that you don't have a vision for your life. The problem is there's nothing beyond the giant. You think that's all there is. He's fought you so many times and he's beaten you so many times and he's made you believe that there's nothing that you can do with this habit. Well, of course there is. Just look past him. Don't look at him. Look past him to the future behind him, that if you can just deviate around him, you don't have to fight with him. You just go around him to something that is bigger on the other side. And there's nothing bigger than the vision that God gives to you for your life. We have a beautiful verse in the Old Testament says that without a vision, the people perish, because the giant, the 6-fingered giant of hopelessness, got him. And he never fulfilled his potential. He lived a miserable existence because the giant got him. Let me suggest to you, and I say this with great kindness, but with a philosophical thinking. I once heard a guy talk about a graveyard, and he said the graveyard is the richest place in town. And I thought, what do you mean, the richest place in town? And then he said this. He said, no, that in those graves is buried unbelievable potential. In those graves are buried songs that have never been sung, books that have never been written, sermons that have never been preached, bold moves that have never been made. And in that graveyard lies unbelievably unfulfilled dreams, visions, and potential, all lying in the graveyard. Every one of those succumbing to the grip of the bad habit of hopelessness. Now people, there's a great story in the Bible, a Hebrew prophet. His name was Joel, and he was prophesying to the nation of Israel, and here's a great case study. The nation of Judah, it had been ravished, and the locusts had come in, and there was just nothing left. The people had denied God, they had been unfaithful, and God had come in as had been the pattern of their existence, and they had just now seen total demolition. And then we see how the prophet comes to them, and he talks about the day of the Lord. The day of the Lord is coming, he says. The day of the Lord is coming when you will see what you need to do to avoid the giant of hopelessness. And see, the children of Judah had got themselves into the cyclic way of thinking, where they fail and then they go into the state of remorse, and it's just a cycle, and then they get used to the state of remorse and it becomes normal to them until they fail again, and then they go round and round the cycle. And if they could just change the state of remorse to a state of repentance, where they acknowledge, God, I've messed up. God, I've really not done well here. God, can you forgive me for the place that I've got myself into? You see, we need to pray, we need to ask God's forgiveness for the fact that we haven't lived it out. We haven't taken his words seriously, or we haven't maybe used the power that he's given us to be able to stand against this giant of hopelessness. It begins at the place of genuine, heartfelt repentance, and to say, God, I'm never going to win. I need you to help me. That's a great place to be. You say, well, not sure my ego will let me go there, or my pride is going to be hurt. Don't worry about your ego and your pride. God will help you at this particular point to be able to look past the hopelessness of the giant that is facing you right now to a vision and a purpose way beyond that giant. Stop looking at the giant of hopelessness and look at the vision and the purpose that God has for your life, which is beyond the giant. You're never going to win fighting him again and again and again. You've got to find that vision and that beauty of God's purpose and strive for that and avoid the giant. Just strive for God's vision of your life. You said it can't be that simple. I'm telling you, people, it's that simple. You want the years that the locusts have eaten? That's what the prophet Joel is talking about. God says, I will restore the years that the locusts have eaten if you'll just get a vision for your life. A vision that is more than just getting up in the morning and fighting the giant again. You're not going to win. You're going to go on day after day. Get that vision, that purpose, that dream that God would pull in your heart and your mind, and let's follow that this week. Have a great day. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. I want to tell you how to make this thing happen. Have a great day anyway. We're praying for you. We love you lots, and we respect your passion to make this thing work. Have a good day. Bye.